You're a hitter that does great when you're in the cages, you have everything down, your swing looks good, but then you get to the game and you start rolling over, a lot of ground balls, weak ground balls, not really finding the barrel. That's what we're going to be going over today. We are going to be going over a couple mistakes that usually happens when you're at the plate in a game. And this could be due to a couple things. You got to remember that when you swing, not every time it's going to go your way. But today we're going to be talking about those common most mistakes that are actually killing your swing when you're in the game, that when you're in the cage don't really affect you. The best way to really feel your swing on the field or in the cage and really understand what you're doing wrong is going to be with the tee. Now the mistakes we're going to be going over today, I'm going to be showing you on the tee and how to make those small adjustments. That way when you get into the game, you see those adjustments actually going to work. Now you might not get it in the first swing, you might not get in the second swing. It takes some time. You got to always remember that baseball is hard and it takes time. It takes a lot of consistency of trying to get something correct. So it's going to take a while for you to actually figure it out. So don't get frustrated. The more frustrated you get, the harder it's actually going to get to be able to fix these mistakes. The mistakes I'm going to be going over today are very important to make adjustments on, especially the last one that I'm going to be going over. So make sure you stay tuned till that last mistake so you see what you're doing wrong. It's a very simple fix, but it's going to take you a long way when you're hitting. I'm going to be showing you a middle pitch and what adjustments to make on this specific pitch. Now, we all know that the strike zone is different, so your approach towards a outside pitch is going to be completely different than an inside pitch. But if you work on middle pitch, this will help you to get the feel for it, and then you can make adjustments from to the inside pitch and also to that outside pitch. The very first reason that we're going to be going over why you're rolling over and it's consistent, the very first one is very obvious, especially if you know baseball, and that's when you're getting long. So when we get long, when we go to swing, we usually miss the barrel and we tend to kind of just drag the bat after we swing, after that contact with our follow through. So that it's a cause for a rollover. So it looks something like this. You're here, you go to swing, and we kind of just do this, and it's just weak rollover. We kind of lose all our power, and the ball just kind of rolls. The adjustments that we want to make here is going to be staying short. So we're going to bring our knob to that baseball. I really like to tell my players and all the hitters everywhere is get to the baseball as quickly as you can. We know that a long swing is going to be very long, so it takes a lot of time to get to that baseball. So our approach here is just bringing the knob to the baseball. You don't have to swing 100%, but let's just focus on middle, bringing knob to the baseball. So instead of getting long, we want to focus this knob and bring it right to that baseball. And that's going to bring my barrel around, staying nice and short and quick and explosive to that baseball to create some backspin and drive it. So it's just nice and easy. I don't want you going 100%, load, and just focusing middle. And even on hard hit ground balls, for example, that was hard hit up the middle, that's most likely a base hit. It gets past the pitcher, you got yourself a base hit. This next common mistake usually leads to pop-ups or rolling over as well. But we're gonna focus on the rolling over aspect, and that is when you get under the baseball. So if we're swinging and we try to get under the baseball, and we usually end up missing it and we hit it right on the top, the ball's just going to go down. Now, this is one of the biggest issues that we deal with, and what we try to do here is, again, stay short, bring the knob to the baseball, focusing on that bottom seam. So a little trick that you can do is you have the baseball, it's like a C here on the seams. What we're gonna do is place it just about there on the tee, and that bottom seam is going to be kind of facing you, and that's going to be our focus when we're swinging. So if we hit the top seam, the ball gets to roll, and we want it to create backspin. So basically, we don't want the top spin, we want the backspin on the baseball, so that way we can drive it. So for those that really struggle with trying to get under the ball, you know, our whole body kind of dips here, and then our head kind of flies open. We can't really see contact there. So if we completely miss that ball, we're going to create top spin. It's going to be a weak ground ball towards your pull side. What we want to really focus on here is finding that bottom seam, staying short, and driving that baseball. So if you're here and you go up, right? If we go up and we hit that top spin, if I were to follow through here, the ball goes straight down. So that tells you that it's going to be rollover. It's going to be weak contact. What we want to do is we want that ball to kind of fly and create backspin when we're swinging. So from here, I load and I focus here. If I were to follow through here, I can push that ball. I have backspin on that baseball, and that ball is going to travel more than if I were to hit it on top and just go straight down. Now this one is very common, so I really want you to focus on, am I staying behind the baseball? Is my head seeing the barrel make contact with that baseball? I know that happens really fast, but the more we focus on it, the more muscle memory we create, and the better approach we're going to have towards that baseball to really create backspin on it and hit hard ground balls, not just roll over, but actually hit them hard. That gives us a chance, gives that defense some pressure, and allows you to really drive that baseball instead of just a weak ground ball, a rollover that will most likely be an out. If you've came this far in the video, I want you to really pay attention to this last mistake that most hitters do. And it's honestly a very simple fix, but it's a bad habit that most hitters have. And if we get to fix this, you're going to see a lot of barrels, you're going to see a lot of line drives, and I promise you your success is going to be through the roof. And that's going to be our hand adjustment. So I'm going to close up here so you can really see. I want to line my finger knuckles up. I always tell my kids that the palm has to be facing the pitcher. Remember, your top hand is what controls that barrel, what controls everything. Your bottom one is that guide. So we really want to focus this palm kind of towards the pitcher, and when we swing, we kind of want to bring that barrel to the baseball, and I'm going to follow through with that top hand. And what that's going to do is going to really control that barrel through the path. It's going to drive that baseball. That's the correct way to do it. Now the wrong way is going to be when we're here, kind of like holding the bat really tight, and then we swing, and then once we follow through, we do this. And our barrel really rolls, and that tends to roll over the baseball. It might be hit a little bit hard, but the ball's always going to be going towards the ground. So the rollover kind of looks like this. I'm not going to do a full swing so you guys can really see it in slow motion. So we're here, and my fingers aren't lined up here. So what happens is, once I get to that baseball, I just roll, and the ball is going to roll over. So no matter how hard I swing it, if I roll those wrists, right, that's the easy way to do it. If I roll those wrists, the ball's just kind of going down, a lot of top spin, very weak. And when we swing, that's just the easy way to finish our swing. If I just roll my hands over, boom, that's easy, right? We have to make sure that we follow through and really focus on the follow through with our swing. Our follow through is very important when we're actually swinging. So what we want to focus on here is, again, I'm going to do it slow just for the purpose of the video. I'm going to load. I'm going to get to that baseball quickly here. Once I get to that ball, I want to follow through with my swing. And I want to be able to finish my swing. Don't just stop at contact. Really focus on working through the baseball. And the tee is going to help you see that follow through and feel the follow through. It's really going to tell you if you really rolled over or if you actually followed through the whole swing, stayed short behind your barrel and really drove that baseball. These little things go a long way. The hands is very important. It might seem like very little, but it's super, super important when it comes to hitting. Someone that really struggles with rolling over, hitting a lot of ground balls, even if they're hits, give these tips a try. It's very simple things that if you fix, you're going to see a huge improvement in your swing, and it's going to take you a long way. I promise you that for sure. Remember, the tee is going to be very helpful when you're hitting by yourself, hitting on the field by yourself, or if you're hitting in the cage with a partner, with your parent, with a coach, whatever the case may be. This is really going to show you, if that ball has backspin, if it has topspin, if you're following through, if you're rolling over. So I really recommend using the tee, and I really recommend focusing on one thing at a time until you don't get it wrong. So you want to do it over and over and over again, not till you get it right, but until you don't get it wrong. I promise you apply those things, you're going to see a huge difference, and you're going to make a lot of adjustments to your swing, and you're going to be thankful that you actually paid attention, felt your body, created a good muscle memory, so that way when you get up in a game again, you see a lot more success. If you stayed through to this video, I appreciate you watching. Make sure to leave a like, comment down below if you agree or disagree with what I said. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.